welcome to another episode of the Alpha Male Podcast. I'm your guest, Heather Krause, and I'm with my co-host,
Greg Krause. Glad to have you back with us today again.
Yes. And today we really wanted to talk more about how to get your physical health in order. There's so many different facets to being an alpha male, mental, emotional, physical, everything. But we just really believe that, well, I believe this. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm sure you agree that getting your physical health in check is the fastest way to become an alpha male.
I would agree, because too many people have let themselves go where they're not able to do normal things anymore, be they a male or a female.
Yes, absolutely. And when you have your physical health in check, it just seems like the emotional and the mental part of it either kind of falls in place itself or is a lot easier to get there, as opposed to you. I feel like if you try to conquer the mental or emotional part of it, it's going uphill the whole way, because if you don't get your physical in check first, it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And plus, too, it just makes you feel better when your body's working properly.
Absolutely. And when you get your body working right and that testosterone's flowing, I feel like you naturally become more alpha. So if your testosterone's low, good luck, trying to be that.
And we'll get into things on that with different guests who are doctors or specialists in that area. But that's for another topic on another day.
Yeah. Today we wanted to talk more about, we've gone over dieting and trying to get your diet cleaned up, but now we wanted to talk about how to start getting like a workout going. And even if you've been maybe going to the gym a couple times a week already, what could be the next steps into getting you to that next level?
Well, I'm going to back it up, Ed, and just even starting out, period. A lot of people always say, hey, I don't have enough time to go to the gym like you do. Blah, blah, blah. Well, to me, you don't have to go to the gym. You could do something at home. Like I had mentioned in another episode, my wife's mom, who's now 99, has dumbbells at home that she works out with. And I mean, you don't even have to have weights. You could do something as basic as doing push-ups. And I know I get the thing of, hey, I can't do a push-up. Well, I still coach football at the middle school level. And I know some of the kids, the boys we get, can't even do a push-up. Well, I'd start them out on their knees, where they put their knees on the ground and do a push-up.
Like the girly way.
Yeah, the girly way we used to call it. But what's nice is, from them starting off that way, they're able to build up their strength, and after a couple weeks, they're doing a regular push-up. And it's nice to see the smile on their face when they realize they're able to do something like that again. And there's a lot of boys that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, etc., that need to start doing something like that also. So please don't go thinking, well, I don't have the time, etc., which we had mentioned this before in an episode. When you're watching your TV programs, get up during the commercials and do your push-ups or sit-ups or whatever it may be.
Absolutely. Well, and, you mentioned push-ups with no equipment, but, I mean, today is like we're living in a different time than 80s, 90s. I mean, you have Amazon at your fingertips, and you can buy some equipment for not that much money. I mean, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars. You can get some kettlebells. I mean, even Temu. I mean, you can buy stuff directly from Chinese manufacturers, and yes, it's not going to be the best equipment, but it can be something that can get you started. So just say you're getting bored with your push-ups, buy a chin-up bar that you can put across your door.
The chin-up bar across your door, or even just put a broom handle over to the backs of two chairs, kitchen chairs, and you could do a modified chin up from just having your feet on the ground and pulling your upper body up. So, once again, there's a lot of different ideas out there. But the secret is you got to get started.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you have to spend 3 or 4 or 5 hours a day doing something. I don't have that kind of time even when I was competing. I was working full time. My wife and I had 3 kids, which they all played sports, which I ended up coaching them in a lot of that.
Head coaching too. So it wasn't just when you felt like coming to help.
Yeah.
You ran them.
But, once again, I gave up watching TV and going to the bar or whatever. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just saying make time to do something.
Yeah, you'd be surprised when you kind of take a look at your schedule. A lot of time is wasted. Whether it's, you're watching TV 7 days a week, like give one day up,
Right, or even, I know a lot of times you come home and things get in the way. Well, just like I would do, I would get up 15 minutes early,
Mm-hmm.
and I would do some kind of a routine, even if it was just walking, to get the blood flowing in the morning, and you get things happening. Because once again, when the body works good,
yeah,
you feel better, you think better, you just are more happy about life. And those are all important things to put you in the right frame of mind.
Oh, absolutely. And don't ever think a habit is too small or too insignificant. So, like 10 minutes a day, a lot of people will be like, oh, 10 minutes in the morning, like that's really going to do much. That's 10 minutes. If you're doing it every day, that's 70 minutes a week. And then whatever that is times 52, because I'm not doing math. That's because it's going to come out wrong. But that adds up.
374 of my...
Yeah, there you go. I grew up on phone calculators. You didn't.
Or 364. Well, whatever.
It's a lot. Whatever it is, it's a lot.
But now, let's say you want to take it a little bit farther than that. There's a lot of gyms that have very good rates that are very reasonable, where you sign up for the month or get a year's thing. And I get a lot of people that say, once again, I'm a busy person. Well, if you could give us 2 or 3 days a week, 45 minutes, a half hour, 45 minutes an hour, you could accomplish a lot, once again, using Ed's math. If you work out 3 times a week with 52 weeks, that's 156 hours that you put in, which your body will respond, because that's the way we were made.
Yeah.
To do stuff. Now, the big question we usually get is, what should I do then for a workout?
Yeah. Because,
Do you want to chirp in on this one first?
I will. You can correct me if you disagree with anything I say, although I'm always right, so. But.
Like your mom.
Yes. I would start with breaking it up into, like, doing the typical bodybuilder split, because they say, you can do full body workouts 3 times a week if that's what you like. We personally tend to lean toward breaking stuff up into, like, your chest, your arms, your legs, your back. What am I missing? Shoulders. So 5 main body parts.
Right, if you want to take it a little bit farther like that. But I'd even back it up like we've done with a lot of people just starting out, coming out of retirement, let's say.
Yeah.
Where we do a push-pull type of workout. So, let's say on Monday, you do a push workout, which would be working your chest, working your shoulders, and working your triceps. And we would put 1 or 2 exercises for each body part where that could be as little as 6 exercises where you did 3 or 4 sets of each, where you could get that done in a half hour to an hour with no problem. And then on the next workout day, it would be your push, where you would use your legs, you would use your back, and then you would use your bicep. And once again, the same deal, where we would do 2 exercises, 3 exercises per body part. And what's funny is, once you start out easy, you'll get addicted to it, where your body will respond. And you don't have to use a ton of weight. We don't care whether you use a machine, you use dumbbells, you use bands, kettlebells, free weights. There's so many different things that you can use. And which one are the best ones? The ones you'll do.
Yeah. I think that makes a big difference. Like, as stupid as it sounds, I hate to do 4 sets of an exercise. I will personally avoid, for some reason, that 4th set. I just don't like it. So I make all my workouts 3 sets. Why wouldn't you make it to something that you love? I would add an extra exercise or 2 to make up for that volume. But it's okay to gear it toward what you like. There's so many different ways to do this. There is no, like, 100%, this is the way you have to go, this is the only way, and so be it.
And I know we get a lot of times, hey, Heather, hey, Greg, I only have 35 minutes. Well, then you know what? We'll set it up in superset fashion. We'll do it, let's just say we're doing the pull workout. So you would do a set of leg extensions, then go do a set of leg curls, and then go do a set of leg press, and come back and do it again. So while you're doing it, you're changing up the exercise so your body, like if you're doing leg extensions, your hamstrings are resting to a degree. Then if you do the leg curls, your quads are resting to a degree. When it comes to leg press, you're kind of using both sets of muscles again. And once again, this can save you time, but still get you in, and it'll also be a little bit of a cardiovascular workout.
Yeah, because a superset is when you do an exercise back to back with very little rest in between. So like you normally would, when you normally do a set, you do the set, like let's just say 15 reps, you rest, minute and a half, then you continue, like you do another set of that same exercise. Superset is you do this exercise, you go right to the next machine, you do it, you go right to the next machine, you do it, and then you take your longer rest.
And sometimes we'll call it a giant set where you might do 4 or 5 exercises in a row.
And you'd be surprised at how much faster that makes things go, as well as not talking in the gym. That also makes things go a lot faster, which is sometimes very hard to do, especially if you befriend everybody and you're social. But if you only have 35 minutes, get in, get out, put your headphones on, and maybe talk at the end. It sounds kind of dumb to point out, but you'd be surprised at how many people waste their workout time talking.
Well, and this is one thing Elder and I always tell our clients. When somebody's walking up to you, say hi and turn your head away. And then if they really want to bug you, you tell them, I'm being timed. Greg has this workout time down. Heather has this workout time down for me. So I got to get it done in this time, or they're going to be upset with me. So I always say, feel free to blame it on us.
Yeah.
Because you'll have all the time in the world to talk after you're done. And a lot of people, the gym is the new bar.
Yes.
Where they come to hang out and talk or take their selfies.
Yeah.
Where, once again, people know when I work out, it's like, say hi and I'll talk to you as soon as I'm done. When I'm done and in the locker room, I'll be the nicest guy in the world. But when I'm working out, I got to concentrate and get done
there's a lot of talkers that look the exact same year after year after year because they don't do anything.
Right. And I always say, go up on the treadmill then.
Yeah,
And
that's a
walk
great.
and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you could get it all out of the way. And once again, to each their own. But if you want to see results,
Yeah.
and once again, you don't have to. We always get asked to how many reps are a good number of reps. I go by 1 week. I'll suggest people do a little bit lower reps, maybe a little higher weight, like 6 to 10 reps. And once again, not playing King Kong, where you're straining yourself, but you want to feel it enough that you're close to failure. Maybe you're like 3 reps short of actually not being able to complete it. That'll help stimulate some muscle. The next week, we like to do a little bit of higher reps, maybe 12 to 15 reps. You could use the same exercises, or if you did flat bench press with dumbbells or a barbell or a machine, this week, the next week, use dumbbells and go with the higher reps. Like I said, maybe 12 to 15, 16 reps. And then you can, on the third week, if you want to mix it up even a little bit more, go 15 to 20 reps. This way you're hitting all the different muscle fibers you have, and you're not going to get in the habit of just keep lifting heavier and heavier like we used to do in the old days.
Mm-hmm. Well, and two, keep in mind, like when you work out, you want to use weights that are challenging to you, but they're going to change those, not like the weights, which ones you pick up, depending on if you do the lower reps, the medium reps, high reps, and even if you do a superset or a giant set. So like if you're used to doing 40-pound shoulder presses, but they're the second, like 1 week where you're doing lower reps and just doing that exercise, the next week you are going to do shoulder presses, but it's within a superset, and that's the second exercise. You're probably not going to be able to do 40 reps. You actually, if you're still doing 40 reps,
you mean 40 pounds?
Or 40 pounds, I'm sorry, then you're not doing, something's off. Either the weight that you first picked up wasn't challenging enough, or your superset.
Good point.
Yeah, it just, something doesn't add up. Your weight should go down the more reps that you add on to that exercise. And that's normal.
Right, and one other thing, I chuckle sometimes when I look around the gym and I can tell somebody's been on YouTube and they're doing a new exercise, and I'm watching them, and then I'll ask them, where did you feel that? What are you trying to hit? And they might be doing something for their legs, but the way they're doing it, they're like killing their back. And it's like, you gotta make sure you use good form.
Yes. And
don't ego lift go in there. I mean, hey, I was guilty of that when I was younger. But that's not a smart way to do it, because you want to continually improve as you go along.
yes, I think that's a great point. I think it's important to know, like backing off of what you said, it's make sure you understand what the exercise is. Like why are you doing it, where you're supposed to feel it. So like if you're doing lateral raises, make sure you know what part of your shoulder that it's actually supposed to feel in. If you're feeling it in your back and you're going, doing shoulder raises, then you know something's wrong. So the more you educate yourself, the better of a lifter you're going to be and the better results you're going to get from it.
And just taking the side lateral, when it's coming up, if her thumb's up high, you have 3 hits in your deltoid. And if her hand is, like I said, with the thumb up, now she's going to be working her anterior or front hip. That's not what we're trying to do with the side lateral.
Mm-hmm.
So she has to twist it, and the elbow has to be higher than the hand. If the hand is up higher, once again, it goes back to the front deltoid. So with the hand being lower than the elbow, that puts the stress right on the medial head, the middle head, which is what we're trying to hit. And once again, I laugh when you see some people just throwing everything up.
Yeah.
The only thing they're working is their back and their traps up here. Start off easy. A lot of clients I've had, like one gentleman, I'll call him Ed. He came to me and Heather many moons ago. He weighed over 300 pounds and he asked me to get him in shape. I'm happy to say he's down to like 220 now.
Yeah, he looks amazing.
But anyway, which if you ever run into him, to verify the story, when we did side lateral raises to start with, I had him using 2.5 pounds to do the side lateral till he got it just right. And now he uses a very respectable dumbbell weight because he learned how to do it properly. And that's the secret. If you go too heavy, you're not hitting what you need to hit, and you're opening yourself up for an injury. And the secret is don't get injured.
Yeah.
Because then you can continue to train.
Well, and one of the reasons why I personally like the body, like you have CrossFit, you have bodybuilding, you have powerlifting. Why I like the bodybuilder way of lifting is because most people, especially as they get older, care less about performance and more about how they look. Bodybuilding, lifting that way, like powerlifting, it just matters, you want to lift the heaviest weight. It doesn't matter like what muscles you use and how you end up looking, for your meet. CrossFit, same kind of concept.
I'm just going to interrupt you 1 second and then continue, please. Over the years, we've had many people come over from CrossFit to ask us if we would train them. And one of the questions I always ask them is, what hurts you? Your elbow, your back, or your knee? And they always chuckle, and it's always one of the three that's hurting. And the reason for it is because of the big strain that they put on it. I'm not putting CrossFit down. That's a phenomenal type of thing. But the form goes out the window, and this is where they cause a lot of injury and trauma on themselves. And I usually tell those people, you got to go see some kind of doctor to get it better before you come train with us, because otherwise you're still going to have a bad elbow when you start with us.
Yeah.
And you're going to make it very difficult. We got to heal that up first. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. So bodybuilding tends to focus less on performance. Like you can have a jacked bodybuilder and he doesn't lift that heavy because they know how to lift. And what's cool about bodybuilding, and like I said, why it pertains to how, like, if it's looks that you're going after, it's almost like you're a sculptor of your own body. You want to, get a more cap on your shoulder, you do these exercises. Whereas like in CrossFit or powerlifting, you don't really have that kind of control over what you do because you're just concentrating on getting the weight from here to there. You want the swoop in your quad to come in. There's exercises to do this.
Sweep,
Or the sweep. Would I call it a swoop? Whatever. But with that, why it's so important to know how to lift is because, like you mentioned a little bit, if you use too heavy of weights, your muscle will push it into some other muscle to help recruit the thing. So like your butt is a really good example of that. Your glute, they kind of say, is more of a lazy muscle. If you use too heavy of a weight, it'll start to incorporate your legs into it. So when you think you're like, oh, I'm building a nice butt, you're not. You're building your legs as well. So like it's very important, and that goes even doing leg press. If if you're wanting your waist to be really tiny, you got to make sure that you're just putting that pressure on your legs and using a weight that isn't overdoing your legs, and you're recruiting your back, your waist, different things into that. Same with like a deadlift, things like that. So again, the more you understand the lift and what muscles you're supposed to be using, the better of a lifter you can be and the better you can sculpt the body that you want, because you're going to be able to know, okay, I feel it in this certain muscle. And as soon as you don't, you can note, okay, I'm staying at this weight until you get it stronger. And then, move, like get up, max out that weight. And then you can kind of continue as you get stronger.
And with Heather explaining that, this brings me back to something Heather and I firmly believe in. The more muscle you have, the more calories you burn doing nothing.
Yep.
Because your body has to feed that muscle, and muscle burns more calories.
Yeah.
Just like it takes more calories when you're eating to burn protein than it does to burn fat or carbohydrate to make your body digest it. So there's real simple things that help in your progress to getting back in shape and feeling good about yourself.
Oh, absolutely. So if your goal is to burn fat, because I think that that's everybody's default, the best way to burn fat is to build muscle, hands down. And I also think some people don't realize how little muscle they have. Like, I don't know, give me a weight. Like they might be like 250, 300 pounds. And they're like, oh, I definitely need to burn fat more because they think that they want to get smaller. If you just concentrated on burning fat, you're going to end up looking like a twig, because I'm going to guess you don't have that much muscle underneath you. So if you're building muscle, you're kind of hitting two birds with one stone, because you're getting getting that muscularity that you want. Because also people have a gross misunderstanding of how long it takes to build muscle. Like people think like, oh, I don't want to be like that jacked. It's like, it's not like you're going to accidentally wake up in 2 weeks and you're going to accidentally be too jacked. Like that's going to take a lot of work. Like you're going to know way in advance that you're getting to like the level that you're okay with. It doesn't just happen overnight. So you want to build a foundation. And as you do that, fat's going to come off a lot easier, as opposed to you just getting on the treadmill, not picking up a weight. Because not only like, yes, you'll burn fat from that, but you're also going to build or burn what little muscle you have, and you're going to end up being real skinny at the end if you keep going. Otherwise, you're just going to be fat skinny.
Right. That's the problem with these starvation diets or these new diet things, the peptides they're giving you.
Oh, Ozempic
And everything, where people are not just losing fat, they're losing muscle, which slows down their metabolism also.
Oh, yeah. Like you definitely, I'm not necessarily against Ozempic, but
No, me either.
But I think people should not use it as a crutch. And you should also, like, you got extra weight for a reason. Whether it's you're eating too much, you're not doing enough working out, whatever it was. You need to change. Like you should not just be taking it and not making any lifestyle changes. And on top of that, you should be in the gym, making sure that you're
building some muscle.
Yeah. Okay, so after somebody does, you mentioned the push and pull workout routine.
And to just add to that, let's say you did the push routine on Monday. Then on Wednesday, if we were doing 3 days a week, so if you did the push routine on Monday, you would come in on Wednesday and do the pull routine. And then on Friday, back to the push routine. But then the following week, you would change it up. You would start with the pull routine. And then Wednesday would be your push. And then the pull would be on Friday. So 1 week you're hitting each body part twice. The next week you're hitting it once. But there's still stimulation on your body from doing it that way. Now, if you're able to give it 4 days a week, you could do 2 push and 2 pull that week and split it up, and a lot of people do. I know we're used to 7 days a week, but you could do an 8-day cycle
Oh, yeah.
Instead of a 7-day, there's all different kinds of things that you could set up to fit your lifestyle.
Yeah, but also don't go like all in when you start out. Like, don't think I have to do 6 days, 7 days a week when I start out, or else it's not going to matter. I would start with 3, even 2 you can start with, and build from there. Because otherwise, you got to be realistic with yourself. You can't go from not working out at all to all of a sudden you're just going to develop this 6 day a week, all the time habitual worker outer.
Very
Like, it's
good
not going to
point.
happen. So, and it all, I'm like a firm believer, you set yourself up for success instead of failures, because those little successes will snowball. You'll feel good about yourself. You're not going to, if you say 6 days a week and you only get 3, because 3's way more realistic, but you're like, no, no, 6, and then you fail, you're going to be a failure for that week, as opposed to just accepting right now I can only do 3. So then guess what? Even though you did the exact same amount of times of working out, you're a success that week, just because you were more realistic with yourself.
And that just made me think of one thing I really stress to the people that Heather and I work with, and just people in general. Bring a notebook or your phone, and not your phone to take pictures or
Yeah, or
do Instagram.
TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're watching us.
Yeah, true.
Write down what you do. What always amazes me is when I see people working out and they're doing the same thing, exact same weight, everything, week after week after week. Well, your body adapts to what you do. So when you want to put a little bit more stress. So, for example, today when I worked out, I did shoulder presses. Well, when I finished with my heaviest weight I went to on a shoulder press machine, I was going for 10 reps. I got 11 reps with it for my last set. So I wrote in my notebook, move up 5 pounds next time I do the shoulder workout, because I mastered what I was hoping to do. Where if I didn't write it down, and I know people go, well, I go by how I feel. Well, I'll be honest with you. Who in the right mind feels like doing squats and doing 15 reps or 20 reps? But this way, if it's like, hey, I got this last time, or I came close to getting what I needed, I put stay, for my next workout of that. So this way I know what I got last time I did it, and I could try to improve, even if it's 1 rep or a half a rep. This way your body's making progress because you're putting a little bit more strain on it, a little bit more stress.
Yeah, because I do want to point out, I'm not sure everybody knows really how muscle is built. It's not just going into the gym and lifting a weight and leaving. It's making sure you stress the body every time. And that's why, like, the kind of the joke is in, like, girls magazine, like Cosmo, it's like, you can just do body weight lunges to tone those legs. No, you can't, because your body gets used to that weight very quickly. So you have to make sure, to your point, that every time you go into the gym, you're taking that step for, like, to stress your body just a little bit more. Because
just a pinch
yeah,
more.
that's all you need. And then what happens is your body, you tear down your muscles, and then they rebuild to get stronger, to be able to, they adapt, because your body always wants to survive. So if you bicep curl, let's just say 30 pounds, and your muscles are going to go, uh-oh, because you tore them down by doing that, we have to rebuild to make sure that we don't get torn down when they lift 30 pounds again. So that's like how your body adapts to it. So then it comes back stronger. So after a couple weeks of doing 30 pounds, your muscles are already going to go, oh, we're okay with 30 pounds. So now you got to go to 35.
And what Heather just said about making your muscle grow and get stronger, you also got to feed the machine.
Yes.
and you gotta have the machine rest.
Yes.
So you can't be out partying all night or staying up playing video games
Fortnite
or
or
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. But you gotta rest. You gotta feed the machine, and you gotta stress the machine. And once again, not that it's gotta be every second of every day of your life, but it's just if you get into a routine, you'll just feel so much better, and you'll be in a better place, physically and mentally.
Absolutely. So, moving on from the push pull thing though, how does somebody then, what would you say is the next step for after you want to move on from the push pull?
Well, if you really want to try developing a little bit more muscle, you could break down your body individually, which we have some of our clients doing this, where, like, for instance, tomorrow, this is just my thing. Tomorrow's wheels or legs. We will do hamstrings and quads tomorrow. Our workout, which once again I put a little bit more effort into it, so it won't be a half hour. We'll probably be in there training for a good hour and a half, hour 45. And not that you have to go that long. You could break this down even to a half hour. But where you would do legs one day, then on Monday, I'm going to do chest and biceps. Now, the reason chest and biceps, I'm not using my legs at all. I'm laying on a bench. Whether I'm doing machine presses, barbell presses, or dumbbell presses, I'm laying down so my legs are resting. And then now you could do chest and triceps too, that wouldn't matter. I had the pleasure of working out with Mr. Lianey, who's a former Mr. Olympia, great guy. He had turned me on to doing chest and biceps together. And then on Tuesday, I would do my back. So now I'm using all the muscles in my back, and then I'll also do my calves on that day. On Wednesday, that would be an off day then, the rest and recoup. And then come Thursday, I would go to do shoulders and my triceps. And then take another rest day and then start it all over again if you want. Or you could train 4 days a week and take 3 days off. You fit what fits your lifestyle to get the most results that you're able to get.
But make sure you're taking those rest days. Like I would not go more than 5 days a week lifting wise, because going back to our point where, you have to make sure you're sleeping and you're eating, how your muscle is built. People think they build muscle in the gym. You tear it down and you build it after you leave the gym. So if let's just say you walk into the gym and your muscle is at this level, as you're in the gym, your muscle goes down to here, you eat, you sleep, and it grows better. If you're constantly beating your muscles down and not resting, you will start to lose muscle. You'll start to lose strength, and you're actually going to have the reverse of the opposite of the effects that you want.
Yeah, we call that overtraining or under recovering, because you're not giving your body a chance to recoup from what you've been putting it through. And you have to be careful, because that's when injuries happen. Because your ligaments and tendons start getting too beat up. And then when you go to do something, it puts too big of a stress on it and you end up tearing something or tweaking in a negative way.
Yeah, because when you lift weights, it is stressful to your central nervous system and everything. So I once did an experiment, which I would not recommend to anybody. I did legs. I lifted them heavy 3 days a week, which was wild. And I was leaning out a lot, but it lasted for about 3 weeks. And on that fourth week, I felt like shit. And I didn't want to do anything. And it was like the worst experiment I have ever done, but it showed me like, holy crap. I wasn't eating probably as many calories as I should have been. I probably wasn't sleeping as good. Like I was not prepared for this experiment at all. And it just showed me though how much overtraining can have an effect on you, because it was I did such a crazy amount of lifting in such a short period of time, and I fell off a cliff in a short period of time. So,
Well, this is why when I mentioned doing heavy reps one week, medium high reps the next week, and then super high reps the third week, it kind of lets your body recoup a little bit. You're resting, but also you're taking your rest days.
yeah.
But it just puts a different stress. I remember in the old days when an old training partner, Mike Fursey, who used to own Club Olympia, we used to do Dorian Yates heavy duty training, and we would make great progress for about 5 or 6 weeks, and then our bodies would just hit the wall, and we'd end up tweaking something, and we'd have to back off for a week or two to get healthy and then start all over again. Where I've learned, Heather and I, with rotating the reps a little bit, it kind of gives you little mini breaks, but you're still putting a good stress on your muscles, which is still stimulating more muscle growth.
And the moral of the story is listen to your body, because your body will tell you. Everybody has their different limitations, especially if you're starting at different levels. You're trying to push it here or push it there. Like nobody can tell you what that limit is. Only you can, and you got to be true to yourself. And when you're bullshitting and going like, oh, I need a rest day, even though you don't. You worked out 2 days a week and really you just didn't feel like going to the gym. Or if the 2 days was like your limit that week, because also the more stress you have outside the gym, the less you should be spending in the gym, because your body can only handle so much stress. So you have to be real with yourself.
Right. But on the other hand, too, if you have a stressful job, sometimes that weight training is a nice release.
Yes.
Where don't stay in the hours in the gym, but get in there for a good half hour, 40
Absolutely.
minutes. And it'll just help relax your body a little bit more. And it gives your brain a little relaxation, which will help.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. But don't go balls to the walls 6-7 days a week if you had a crazy, you shouldn't be doing that anyway, but that's the worst thing to do when you have a super crazy stressful week, is to overtrain in the gym.
And good thing you could use that saying that you did, because it's an alpha male.
That is true. Yes.
If it was alpha female, we wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
say
you couldn't
that.
say balls to the wall. I don't know what you would say.
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed today.
Yes. We'll close it down with that, and we hope to see you next time.
Yep, thank you very much. And once again, we'll have a segment where you can send your questions in.
Yes, we're still putting that together.
Yes.
But
Thanks.
start thinking of them.
Yep, thanks for watching.
See you guys.
Yep,
Bye.